Because when I look at our community today, I'm reminded that it takes teamwork to make the dream work. I wish I had a witness in here. It takes all of us to make it work. And regardless of how great you may be individually, it's not until we come together for a cause that is bigger than us. It's not till we come together to work on somebody else's behalf other than our own. It is not until we come together that the cause of Christ can be advanced in your community.
We need it. A word to survive. Uplift. A word for the times. We need it. A word to survive. Uplift. A word for the times.
Dream team. In the year 1992, there was assembled a group of men who comprised what is arguably the greatest collection of basketball players this world has ever seen. These 12 men, who were at various levels in their personal careers. They jumped at the chance, ladies and gentlemen, to represent their country in the worldwide Olympic Games in Barcelona, Spain. Michael Jordan, who was fresh off his back-to-back championship run. Larry Bird, who was fastly approaching the end of his Hall of Fame career. Magic Johnson, who just a few months prior announced to the world that he had contracted the HIV virus. Scottie Pippen, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, Karl Malone, Clyde Drexler, Charles Barkley, John Stockton, Chris Mullin, and an unproven rookie from Duke named Christian Laettner. This ensemble cast was coached by a Hall of Fame caliber crew. Some of y'all may remember this. Chuck Daly and Lenny Wilkins, PJ Carlissimo, and a college coach named Mike Krzyzewski. Pray for him. He ain't doing too well right now. See, it was in that year of 1992 that the Dream Team, as they were known, proved to be the best team we had ever seen. Hold me, I'm going somewhere. See, they beat all of their opponents by an average of 44 points. Wish I had a witness here. The closest margin of victory was 32 points in the gold medal game. But brothers and sisters, the point that I want to make to you this morning is that none of those things would have been possible if those heroes had not remained humble. I got you right where I want you. I say none of those things would have been possible if those heroes, those 12 great men individually, if they had not humbled themselves, none of what they accomplished would have been possible. Understand, they were stars in their own right, no doubt, but there was a cause, brothers and sisters, that was bigger than their own crown. Somebody know where I'm going. There was a goal that was more important than their personal glory, and they had an objective that superseded their aspirations. Hear me, the Olympics in '92 wasn't about just them, it was about a whole nation. It was about country. It was about the hopes and the dreams of an entire nation. I'm talking about black folks and white folks and Hispanic folks and Asian American folks. Regardless of what your heritage was, it was a dream that caused them to work as a team. Somebody gonna catch where I'm going after a while, because when I look at our community today, I'm reminded that it takes teamwork to make the dream work. I wish I had a witness in here. It takes all of us to make it work, and regardless of how great you may be individually, it's not until we come together for a cause that is bigger than us. It's not till we come together to work on somebody else's behalf other than our own. It is not until we come together that the cause of Christ can be advanced in your community. Don't miss the shift, because I ain't talking about basketball no more. I'm talking about the Bible, because far too often we see where the work goes undone. And the reason why the work goes undone, watch me now, is because we have too many celebrities and not enough servants. I wish I had some noise on a Sunday morning. I said we got too many celebrities and not enough servants. Everybody wants the glory. Everybody wants to be recognized. Everybody wants their name called. But how many of us heroes are willing to be humble? Ebony, that's what I like about the Dream Team. Because it didn't matter who you were when you put them colors on. Somebody ought to help me here. Say, it didn't matter who you were when you put the red, white, and the blue on. Michael Jordan just won your back-to-back rings. You had just beat Magic in 91, just beat Clyde Drexler in 92. Congratulations, but you need to fall in line like everybody else. Somebody know where I'm going. Larry Bird, I know you old. I know you got back problems, but we'll work you in and use you where we can. Come here, Magic. We know you going through your own storm right now. We know folk are talking about you. We know folk are judging you. But right here with this uniform, we let you know you are not in this thing by yourself. I wish I had some help in here. We're not afraid to touch you because of your condition. And I don't know who this message is for, but God said you can't afford to be picky about who's on the team. If you're a veteran, don't you look past these rookies. And if you're a rookie, don't be acting like you know everything. You need to listen to somebody who's been where you're trying to go. I wish I had some help in here. It don't matter who you are today. All of us are a part of the team. If you're a champion, you better bring that experience to the table. But what you don't want to do is act like you better than everybody else, because Michael couldn't win no rings without Scotty. I wish I had some help in here. Scotty ain't won nothing without Michael. Somebody ought to talk to me here. I'm talking about the Dream Team. Tell somebody around you, it takes all of us. There's somebody here today that's going through, and maybe you feel like you ain't good enough to be on the team. Let me tell you something. God can use you. I don't care what you got going on. God can put you on the team, and you may not have as many minutes as I have, and you may not play as often as your neighbor does, but tell your neighbor, I'm doing the best I can with what I got. I'm talking about a diverse group of players who came together. I'm just about there. For a common cause. I submit to you as I pivot toward the text here, there is a work to be done in our community. I say there's a work to be done in our community. And guess what? It's going to take all of us to get it done. Let me catch you up to where some other people are. In chapters 1 and 2, you discover that the walls of Jerusalem are lying in waste. Read it when you get a chance. The holy city of Jerusalem, the holy city of God, the dwelling place of God's people, the place where the worship is, the place where God's people live, the houses where they live, the temple where they worship. The walls were utterly destroyed by their enemies, and the gates were literally burned to the ground. I don't have time to rehearse the history. But what you should know by now is that walls represent your security. Somebody say walls, walls. It's the safety of our families. It's the future of our children. When a city no longer has its walls, you are subject to attack at any time. Listen, I know there's a group of us here who tend to feel more secure because we've made it in life? Oh, it's going to preach in a minute. You feel secure because you've achieved some level of affluence or influence in your life. Nehemiah says, don't you ever get so comfortable in the castle that you forget about, I wish I had some help in here, that you forget about your community. Nehemiah was a cupbearer in the king's palace, but he never forgot the neighborhood that he came from. When he heard about what was going on at the house, when he heard what was going on in Jerusalem, he began to cry out to God about how he could make a difference. You think you safe in your little cul-de-sac? Keep sitting there here. You think you safe in your little subdivision? Let me tell you something. If you don't fix what's wrong in the city, it will spill over in the suburbs. You can run, but you can't hide. You can act like you don't know us if you want to, but if you don't fix what's going on in the city, it will spill over in the suburbs. Because when one of us hurts, all of us hurt. When one of us cries, all of us cry. You ought not be satisfied in where you are. You got to work to make sure that somebody else has access. I wish I had some witnesses in here. You ought not be satisfied until every child has a fair shake at education, until every school is measured by the same ruler, until every worker is paid fairly. Keep sitting there here. Until every sick person has health care, until every veteran is treated fairly, until every neighborhood is safe, until every citizen is recognized. God didn't bring you this far to be bougie. He brought you out so you could bless somebody else. Tell your neighbor, quit acting like that. Quit acting like that. Quit acting as if other people's problems don't involve you. I'm tired of cul-de-sac Christians. Bougie believers. I got mine. I don't know what's wrong with them. I need some people that can think back a few years to when them folk was you. I'm talking about when you was a college student trying to get out, when you had to get a loan, when somebody had to feed you, when somebody had to give you a ride, when somebody had to give you a hand up. Don't ever forget the community, because now you live in a castle. And so, with the few minutes I got left, I want to show you how chapter 3 is symbolic of the church and the community. Can I teach before I preach? Listen here. I've already told you how diverse the dream team is. But I want you to see how their teamwork made the dream work. Hear me now. When you read through these 32 verses in chapter 3, and the reason why it's going to be short is because I don't have to go through all of them. I'm going to give you the key word. The key word in them 31 verses afterwards is this: next unto. Go through all 32 verses and you'll see this one did this one, and next unto him, and next unto him, and next unto him, and next. You can get through the whole chapter real fast if you just recognize that one simple principle is that people followed suit as the leaders did what they were supposed to do. Listen, Eliashib and his brothers started. That's what I read to you in verse number 1. They started, and next unto him, the brothers of Jericho. At the risk of making y'all more mad than you're already mad right now, before I go any further into this message, I can't help but to see that men are at the forefront of the mission. Yeah, I figured you wouldn't shout off for that. I said men are at the forefront of the mission. Listen now, it's not an insult to women. It's not to diminish who you are or what God has called to you to do, but if men don't step up, If men don't commit to the dream, if the men are not willing to step up first, we will never be able to get the job done. Where are the men in this room? Where are the brothers that want to do their part? The sisters holler out all the time, but I need some tenor voices to talk to me this morning. It started with the priests. It started with the preachers in the community, but any preacher that is worth his salt, you got to be able to motivate some men. Where the brothers at? I need some help in here. Brothers, we cannot be scared of each other. I don't know where we get this thing from, but please understand, you cannot be intimidated by the greatness of your brother. I'm talking specifically to the men. We know women hate on each other all the time, but I'm talking to the brothers in particular. We cannot afford to be intimidated by each other. No, listen, we are in this thing together. We are partners in this thing. We either gonna work together or we may as well hang it up, because it don't make no sense for me to score 50 and we still lose. The good thing about a godly brother is that he can celebrate the service of somebody else. Listen, you having a triple-double don't take nothing away from me. As long as we win, we all coming up. I wish I had some help in here. I need you to be great. I need you to step up and contribute. I need you to do your thing, because if there's anybody here that has ever been hated on, you understand we don't get nowhere hating on each other. We got some young folk coming up behind us, and we got to learn how to celebrate one another so that we can pass it on to the next generation. And next unto. And next unto. And next unto. And next unto. Back when we used to play ball, see, up north, you know, ain't much football going on up north, because we ain't had no grass up north. Please understand, y'all had plenty of grass down here in the south, but where I come from wasn't nothing but concrete, so basketball is king in the north. And when we would play out on the playground, even when there were people already on the court, when you stepped on the sidelines, you would always call next. Any country folk know what I'm talking about up in here? I say you would call next. I'm not in right now, but tell your neighbor, I got next. I got next. This generation that's behind me, some of these young folk that's sitting out here now, the reason why we invest in them is because they got next. Now, you can be selfish with it if you want to, but Larry Bird, your back is going to get bad one day. Talk to me here. You are going to have to hang it up one of these days. So you need to invest in who got next. You know, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I've never known a man to give up power. You usually have to take it. See how quiet it get right up in there? I ain't never known a man that just voluntarily give up power. Because you know why? Some folk don't know when to say when. And you got to know when your time is up. And you got to be able to allow for somebody else with a fresh idea, with a fresh renewed energy. You got to know how to step to the side and let the young bucks have next. And next unto. And next unto. And next unto. Everybody had a part, and everybody's part was significant. And I submit to you all, ladies and gentlemen, as I try to pivot towards a close, the sooner we submit to our own assignment, the quicker we can get things back in shape. If you didn't shout for the first 15 minutes, you're probably not going to shout now. Because what I'm about to say is going to stir up a little bit of trouble. Please understand. And then they encourage me, so it's just like, ain't no sense in trying to do right around here. Listen, I have never tried to do other people's job. And I appreciate it when folk don't try to do my job. It's like, stay in your lane. So somebody know where I'm going. Don't veer off into unauthorized territory. What you talking about, Pastor? Here's what I'm talking about. I leave certain things up to government. But then I believe government ought to leave certain things up to God. All right, let me get a little bit closer here. See, marriage is God's idea. And government ain't got no business trying to redefine what the Bible already says. See how quiet y'all got right up in there? Life and death is God's idea. And the moment we start letting government be God, we better prepare ourselves for some harsh judgment. I thought I'd throw that in there for free. Because I believe there's room for government on the team. When you read chapter 2, you'll see where the king was the one who funded some of the dream. It's right there in the Bible. Nehemiah went to the king. The king said, what you want from me? He said, I need to go see about my people. He said, well, what you need? He said, I need some letters of access. He said, I need some wood, some material. And the king gave him the supply to get the job done. I guess you could say there was some community redevelopment funds in there somewhere. Somebody ought to help me preach in here. It was government who gave the people of God access. You know why? Because when the church does its job, everybody benefits from it in here and outside of here. Have I got a witness here? Those homeless people were not church members, but we housed them anyway. The hungry people were not necessarily Christians, but we feed them anyway. Talk to me here. Those naked people aren't Baptist people, but we still clothe them each and every day. So when the time comes to help your community, don't forget to invest in churches that give back. Tell your neighbor it's the dream team. It's the dream team, see? All of them had their own gate to help build up. I'll finish this next Sunday, but see, the priest built up the sheep gate. I'm at the end of the sermon, you don't even realize it. The priest built up the sheep gate. Listen, because the sheep gate was the place where sacrifices were brought in and out. Don't miss it. When the sheep were brought forth through the gate by the priest, it was a sign to the people that their sins were forgiven. How's that? Because the sheep, when they were brought in, were sacrificed. The blood, that was shed on their behalf. So the priest worked on the sheep gate first before anything else, because the people needed to see that their sins were forgiven. Anybody know where I'm going with this? The priest was named Eliashib, and Eliashib in the Hebrew means God will restore. So guess what? Every time they saw the priest, every time they saw the sheep, they were reminded that God will restore you in the midst of your sin. Come here. It's 2014, and I'm glad to announce that you don't need Eliashib anymore. You don't need the priest anymore, because there is a lamb that was offered before the very foundation of the world. Come here. It was his death, it was his blood, it was his sacrifice that would bring us forgiveness through his work on the cross. I wish I had a few people in here who knew what happens at the sheep gate. I need some people in here who can remember some sins of your own, but thanks be to God, there was a high priest that was able to make a sacrifice on all of our behalf. Can I get a witness here? There was somebody that made the ultimate sacrifice, because all through eternity, God has some players on the dream team, but all of them were second to the man named Jesus Christ. Can I call the team members? God had a team member named Abraham, but Abraham wasn't faithful in the clutch. When it came time to trust God in the crunch time, Abraham and Sarah tried to help God out. So God said, you can't be my number one player. And then Moses showed up on the dream team, but Moses got teed up for having a hot temper. Can I get a witness here? David was on the dream team, but David got distracted looking at the cheerleaders. Can I get a witness here? Jeremiah was on the dream team, but Jeremiah cried every time he missed a shot. Noah was on the dream team, and he did the best that he could, but Noah couldn't make his free throws because he was too drunk to see where the line was. Can I get a witness here? Jonah was on the dream team, but he hid in the locker room and wouldn't come out to play. Can I get a witness here? Isaiah was on the dream team, but they wouldn't let Isaiah talk to the press because he was a man of unclean lips. But I'm so glad there was a player. God had a secret weapon, and his name is Jesus Christ. He came all the way down through 42 generations, gave his life for the sins of the world. And if y'all don't mind, I found Jesus' rookie card, and I want to read to you some of his stats. Yes, Lord, he was born in Bethlehem. He played Little League up in Nazareth. He got a scholarship in the Hebrew temple. He played point guard up in Galilee. I read his stat line and I've seen his highlights. Turn water to wine, fed 5,000, walked on water, calmed the storm. Y'all know him, don't you? Cast out demons, cast out devils, made the lame walk, made the dumb talk. And one Friday on a hill called Calvary, God called a rookie to win my redemption. He said, I'm ready to suit up, prepare me a body of flesh and blood. Tell your neighbor he died. Oh, Lord, I said he died. To heaven got satisfied. He died just to get me through. They laid Jesus in a borrowed tomb, stayed in the grave all day Friday, all Friday nights, all day Saturday, and all Saturday nights. But